graders, and welcome to Lesson 60 on finding a fraction to complete a whole. This lesson was very simple, and so I added kind of an extra step, which you would be learning in the future, but I totally think you're ready for it. So let's jump right in. 1/3 of the students are girls. What fraction of the students are boys? So here we know that we want 1/3. So if I were to write that as a fraction, that's going to tell me my denominator of how many groups I want to break the whole into. So the whole is students, so label your box the top students. And now I want to split it into 3 groups, so I'm going to draw 2 lines, 1, 2, so that way I have 3 parts. And I know that 1/3 of them are girls, so I can label that with girls. So I want to know what fraction of the students are boys. So if 1/3 are girls, then I can assume that this one and this one would be boys. Or I could also show that by just doing that and doing boys out here. So if I were to write a fraction representing this, then I would say my denominator is still going to be 1, 2, 3 because the total amount of parts are 3. And out of those 3 parts, 2 are boys. So my answer is 2/3. What fraction of the students are boys? 2/3. Now, if you notice, 1/3 plus 2/3 would equal 3/3, which would make up the whole. So really, I'm going to draw diagrams to show it so we can really illustrate this point, but altogether, they're going to add up to 1 as we learned in the lesson yesterday. This is just one for you to try. So 3/4 are girls. How many are boys? I'm going to divide this into how many spots? 4. And then I'm going to mark off 3 of them for girls and figure out how many would be for boys. So you can go ahead and do that work in this spot and put your answer there. Here's example C, same type of thing. Bob found that commercials make up 1/6 of TV airtime. What fraction of TV airtime is not commercials? All right, so my first step is to draw a rectangle and label the whole, which is airtime. Okay? And now I'm going to break it into the amount of parts as my denominator. So look for my fraction. Bob found out that commercials make up 1/6. If I were to write that as a fraction, it would look like this. And my denominator is 6. So I'm going to split this into 6 spaces. To divide that into 6, I divided it in half. And then I divided each half into 3s. That was an easier way for me to do it. You can also draw on an extra box if you messed yourself up a little. Okay, so now I need to label. It says that 1/6 was commercials. So this box right here is going to be commercials. And it wants to know what fraction is not commercials. So all of these are not commercials. And how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are not commercials. So to write that as a fraction, I'm going to put the total as the denominator, which is 6. And those that are not are my favorable outcome. They're going to go on top. So 5. So my answer is 5/6. 5/6 of the TV airtime are not commercials. Now here we go. Now I want to add this extra step, okay? Because I know that you're super smart. Here, adding on to this problem, says commercials make up 4 hours of airtime. How many hours are not commercials? So now what I'm going to do is I'm saying that the commercials are 4 hours. So this right here is going to be a 4. And if that's a 4, then we know that all of these are 4s from when we did this earlier with finding a fraction of a number. So that means that this would be a 4, and 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 this would be a 4. So how many hours are not commercials? Well, I'm going to count up all the ones that are not. And remember, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So I could do 5 times 4 means that 20 hours are not commercials. Okay, that's kind of the practical application to being able to figure this out. Here's another example that I would like you to try on your own. So it says 1/4 of the glue sticks are gone. This is 3 glue sticks. How many are left? So my first step is to draw a rectangle. My second step is to split it into fourths. My third step is to label which ones are used, gone, and which ones are left. And then I'm going to label where my 3 would go, fill them in, and then figure out how many are left. So I know you're going to do great. Go ahead and get to work, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.